up, Hillbillies? Today we are joined by Rad. We've got Karen and Mark. And if you don't know who they are, then you should feel bad about yourself. Go check them out. We have Karen and Mark with the Rad team with us. Is there anything you want to share about your system and process? Why? 30-second overview. Why someone would want to check you guys out?
If you want to grow more food than you thought was possible, with less effort than you ever thought was possible, all that you have to do is imitate natural ecosystems. If you can see the trees growing behind us, nobody does anything to get those to grow. Nobody does fertilizer, plowing, tillage, pest control, disease control, and there's all kinds of food growing out there. Well, yeah, we could all go out and be wild crafters and collect wild foods, but that's not what I'm talking about. Let's redesign our agriculture in nature's image, imitate our natural ecosystems, and then we harvest and harvest and harvest forever.
We got an author here, and if you want to get them to come see you, at this point in time, we've asked Mark to sign my book, which is very nice. We got Restoration Agriculture. This is one of 4 books. We got Any Farm. We've got another technical manual he's coming out with. And so we're gonna take you around and kind of share what we've been doing.
Is that satellite dish up there, is that a complete?
No, whatever was up there from a long time ago. This was an old manufacturing facility built in 2000.
What did they make?
They made tabletops for boats. Oh, we're basically in the field of that Korean pine right now.
But I was mentioning about the satellite dish. Is the satellite dishes, they're designed to focus energy at this focal point, and they're set up perfectly for concentrating heat. So you just put on some surface cement and mylar on it, and then you take the transmission radiator from an automatic transmission vehicle and use a high temperature PEX. And you face it towards the sun, and it shines on that, and you can either do a glycol system or a water system.
So it's a solar heater.
It'll make superheated steam. It'll go like 300+ degrees if you're...
There's a satellite?
The satellite dish, yeah, the plastic. It looks two pieces. I don't know if it was
like
all the pieces.
Like a small one?
No, this one's like...
a massive one.
Like that big around.
Are these grapevines too? Because they look like oak trees. Oak vines.
They look like it up top. I never see vines that get that thick of a bark up north, but it's also possible they just don't live as long up north.
There's more crazy vines.
Yeah, and that's a different vine than that. I don't even know if they're officially a grape. They look like a grape, they act like a grape, they kind of taste like a grape, but they're more, heat adapted vining thing with fruit. But this is a grape right here.
That is grape.
Yeah.
Because the bark's slipping.
Yep.
I know if I find that, I can cut it and drink water from it.
Yeah.
If it drips into
the
canteen, it kind of
well,
tastes
and
bad.
the thing that if you know now, if you got your own signal to yourself, this is not a grape, we go ahead and we cut out that section.
Well, I want to cut the grapes too.
This is a grape. Well, let's go ahead and let's cut it right about here, and then lightly tie it with a piece of cotton string for now. Then it'll send out whatever. Now you see what kind of grapes you get. And if it does decent grapes, keep it here. And every year when the vines grow up, you cut them off. And then it grows up again, then you cut them off. Because every year it's the canes that come up and produce the fruit.
Not the stem.
This thing, it's only, if it's producing fruit at all, it'll be producing some. It's like 80 feet in the air, and that's not really doing you much good. The proper machine designed really well by a good engineer is better than anything that anybody can hack together.
Yeah.
So the rocket stove is a really great idea for people who want to hack shit together, and it's good for what it's good for.
Yeah.
A really well-designed wood-burning unit. One of the things I want to point out to you guys, look at that oak, that white oak up over there.
Yeah.
See how it has so many branches and it's got branches down low? That's been in the wide open its entire life.
Until just now.
Until the past, maybe 25, 30 years.
We have many big trees like that.
And so then you see the lower branches now starting to die off because they need the sun. The oaks are a full sun dependent tree. And then you see the tree next to it that's leaning to get out.
Because it was living under that other oak.
It was under it and it had to get out there somehow. And it had enough sun because this one was in the open that it kept growing out.
Then it fought with that oak tree right over there.
And so what you have here, this is, let's say, 50 years time difference. That edge where we saw the raspberries around your cedar and all that kind of stuff, any of the older trees are gone, but this big, huge oak dominated it. All the birds are dropping the stuff. All of this grew up underneath that. What was the Civil War history here?
Civil War history, there was Smallland Cave nearby that used some munitions storage. There's a city called Battlefield that's about 2 miles from here, and it was a battlefield, and then they built something on top of it. A lot of Indian activity was here before that.
Yeah.
A lot of metal detectors, you'll still find stuff. Missouri was bloody, especially because we're the southern border of Missouri.
Yeah.
Because Arkansas was right there.
This low spot, you know, you can raise the low spots. Any of the brush, you can cut the brush off the top, but don't mess with the bigger trees because they've already done their thing.
1830s, everything here was probably pine trees and was logged. And then after that, it was probably just left alone. And
did they have any like longleaf pine, loblolly? You said red pine, but was there any?
There's a big grapevine there.
That's a biggie. Wow.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. So if you were gonna like thin out for walnut for whatever purpose to favor that one instead of this one, because this one's already slowing down. One of the reasons why it might be slowing down is it might be getting strangled in places by that vine. Yeah. You already have the grass out here. You just start removing some of the brush, you get in here and mow it, you know, chip up some of the rotten wood.
And what would you do with, I mean, the grass, grass in, under, it's supposed to do that. You would use it for rotational grazing?
This is already set up for grazing. Yeah.
This is pasture.
Yeah. Now, if this was a deep, dark woods with like a real rich duff layer and all this rotten wood from eons of being a closed canopy forest, that's a forest, leave it alone. This isn't a forest, hasn't been a forest. This is a bunch of trees growing in an open grassland.
I'm glad you guys are here in the winter because of all the spice bush, you can't see.
Yeah.
You couldn't see that tree right there. Yeah. And then, so these cedar trees, like these cedar trees behind you here, and that are the larger ones, I think those are only 50 years old, right?
I don't know how fast they grow around here, so I really can't say. But what's interesting about those is they're sun loving. They won't tolerate the shade. So if you're in an area where the cedars are getting overtopped, go ahead and let them get overtopped. There's a road here, so they're probably going to get sunlight for a while. So here's where these two little creeks slam together. Okay. As far as I remember as a kid, where the water comes out has always been where the water comes out. It hasn't really grown. Okay. So it hasn't moved upstream or downstream at all. Right. But here's the bottom side of the hill. I'd like this to be a food-producing, lazy, beautiful oasis that just works because, well, I'd mentioned already like the oak. You know, oak, chestnut, and beech are cousins. Probably beech is not a good idea here. It's a little too hot, but you know, oaks and chestnuts. That plant community type includes cherries, apples, hazelnuts, raspberries, grapes, you know, currants and gooseberries, and then mushroom, and then forage. So there's a lot of food in that. That's that plant community type. Well, walnuts, they exclude some other things because they're coloring the soil. Walnuts and pecan are in the same plant community type. They're really happy with persimmons and raspberries, cherries, grapes, gooseberries, currants. You won't see as many hazelnuts in with walnut systems. You'll see more pawpaw with like chestnut and oak systems. There's a lot of pawpaw here as well. So pawpaw, persimmon, and cherries will kind of like hang out with both plant community types, but they'll be more concentrated. You'll see more persimmons with the pecan side of things than the oak side of things. Now, Karen, you guys are talking about planting that. Doesn't that take time? What the heck do we do in the meantime? I just planted a bunch of, put a bunch of money in the ground, plant trees. How am I supposed to get that money back? What are some back to you?
Back to you, Mark.
What are some strategies we can use to get our money back while we're waiting for the trees to grow?
There's a whole bunch of things you can do. What people often like to do is maybe plant it between your rows of trees. And so you can put all kinds of things. You can put crops like, if you want to grow grains, if you want to grow any kind of vegetables, fruits, and things like that. Then you can even do stuff like run livestock. Like that's something you do right away. So we're closing this up, we're wrapping up. Guys, the Rad team, you've spent a lot of time with us. What do you want your viewers to know or be curious to look into? How should they find you? What if they want to get involved? How do they get involved? Well, one good place would be is go to restorationegg.com and then talk to me. I'll tell you how to get started with how you want to get started with maybe setting up your own kind of agroforestry system or anything in between.
We want to see 1 million new hills covered with 1 million new farms with people who have always dreamed of moving out to the country and having a beautiful piece of paradise. We need you to transform the face of this planet, the way we do agriculture, and we're going to change the world. We need you.
And I think Rad is going to be coming out with a certification system, right?
We sure will.
So if you're watching this in the future, maybe it's already out, go check out restorationag.com. And if you want to be affiliated with them for restorations and be certified in Rad Design, you can work directly with them to get that done. Guys, Mark, it's been a joy to be here. So before Mark leaves us, we're going to ask him one last thing. Mark, will you sign my butt, please?
Has this really happened?
What?
Just a top.
Just a top. Because he's a rock star saving the world. Screw musicians.
Boom, bam, ba da ba ba bam, boom, bam, ba da ba ba bam, boom, bam, ba da ba ba bam, boom, ba ba.